What are angels? Do they really exist? What missions do they have? Let's dive into this. A lot of people think angels are just made-up stories, right? Like something humans just invented. They draw wings and laugh about it. But the truth is, the Tanakh, the Torah, and the prophets are full of passages about angels. For instance, remember when God sent angels to the patriarch Abraham? They came to tell him he would finally have a son with his wife Sarah. Interestingly, those same angels were sent by God to Sodom to warn Abraham's nephew Lot, who lived there, that Sodom and the 4 neighboring cities, not just Gomorrah, were about to be destroyed. They were there to save him, and they did. It's also fascinating to think about Jacob, our 3rd patriarch. So, what happens with Jacob? He's leaving the diaspora, heading back to the land of Israel after being with his father-in-law Laban. But he forgets a few things and goes back to Laban's house. On his way, he encounters the angel of Esau, Esau himself. But his angel, they get into a struggle. Is this battle just physical, or is it more of a spiritual clash? Another case we can recall is with Samson. An angel appears to him, saying, "You're going to have a son. Make sure during the whole pregnancy, and even after, you avoid anything impure. Don't drink wine, because your son will be a Nazir." A Nazir is some one man or woman who makes a vow not to come into contact with the dead, not to cut their hair, and not to drink wine or anything derived from grapes. This revelation comes again when Manoch, Samson's father, asks his wife, "Who did you see? What did they say?" The angel reappears to confirm the same message. Another intriguing story in the Bible is about Balaam, the sorcerer, who was hired to curse the people of Israel in the desert. While riding his donkey, the donkey starts acting strangely and dangerously. Balaam gets really upset and wants to hit the donkey. Then the angel appears. The donkey even starts talking to Balaam, asking why he stopped. The angel says, "Look, the donkey saw me, but you didn't." Balaam is shocked and even asks God if he should stop. It's interesting to see how angels are described in the mystical writings of the Torah and the Bible. For example, there's a description of the divine chariot, which features angels with wings. This is where all those artistic interpretations come from. Angels depicted with wings, looking somewhat human but soaring through the skies. In the book of Daniel, we even see specific names, like the angel Michael. So, we've got all these curious passages about angels. I'll try to shed some light on them, but let's really dig into what angels are, okay? I want to approach this in a genuine and profound way, not just skimming the surface. Angels are spiritual creations made by God. They were created before humans. Why? Because when God created the world, he created an infinite light, what we call Orion Sof. Understanding this concept can really clarify the creation of the world. This infinite light was gradually contracted by God, preventing it from filling everything. Otherwise, there would only be divine light, and no space for anything else. These contractions of light lead to a decrease in intensity, making God's revelation less pronounced. Eventually, this allowed for the creation of something separate from God, something that exists, but is not directly connected to him. In Kabbalah, this process happens especially in the Olam, the world of creation. Most angels were created in the world of formation, which is a lower level. They are purely spiritual beings, because, at these levels of divine revelation, there's no physical matter yet. Matter is only created when there's a further contraction of divine light, leading to the world of action, where humans are created. Unlike humans, angels are purely spiritual. They exist in realms where the divine presence is much more evident, especially in the world of creation. The presence of God is apparent there, though not completely. This is why angels don't have free will. If a human were to experience a complete divine revelation, they would lose their free will. That's why God is hidden in our world. But at the level of angels, it's not quite like that. You see, they're spiritual beings, lacking a physical body. Sure, they can take on a form that resembles a body, like we see with Abraham and others. But that's not their true essence. Their essence is purely spiritual, and even more so because they exist so close to God, almost in a visible way for them. They don't have free will. They were created by God for a purpose. Why? Because the word angel in Hebrew is malak, which means messenger. They are God's messengers, each with their own mission. This includes Satan, who many people mistakenly think is an independent force, almost like a rival to God. A lot of folks have a completely skewed, almost idolatrous view of Satan. They imagine there's God, and then there's this independent creation called Satan, who isn't subject to God and can do whatever he wants. So, they picture a constant struggle, God trying to do good, while Satan is trying to do evil. But that's just not the case. God created the universe and everything in it, including Satan. Satan represents evil, but he doesn't have permission to act without God's command. He's not an independent being at all. He's an angel. And he's not the only evil angel out there. Kabbalah teaches us that there are also angels, known as Malaki, or angels of destruction. When humanity, a group, or even an individual strays too far off the path, God can send a destructive angel to fulfill that mission. So, now we have a clearer understanding. Angels are spiritual beings residing in realms where divine revelation is much higher. They were created to carry out specific missions. Now, here's something really interesting. How many types of angels are there? Maimonides, in his first category of laws about the principles of faith, tells us there are 10 types of angels, and I'm going to share their names with you now. I'll say them in Hebrew because it's tough to translate them fully. Let's dive in. First up, we have the Chayot HaKodesh, the holy animals. Just so you know, they were created at a very high level in the world of creation. Then we have the Ophanim, Arelim, and Chashmelim, which translates to electric in Hebrew, so they're the electric ones. There are also Seraphim, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. Then we have Malakim, or simply angels. Elohim, which you might think is just a name for God, actually has other meanings too. And then there's Benai, Elohim, or sons of God. But this doesn't imply that God has a son. It's just a category of angels to avoid any misunderstandings. Next are the Cheruvim, or cherubs, but not the ones you might be picturing from the Holy Ark, which we also have a video about. Finally, we have Hashem, which refers to a level even lower than the others. Why are there 10 categories of angels? Well, if you've studied a bit, you know there are actually 10 Sephirot and divine attributes through which God governs the world. These angels correspond to those 10 Sephirot. Interestingly, sometimes angels come to people and aren't even seen. Like in the case of Balaam, where his donkey saw the angel, but Balaam himself didn't. Another fascinating point is about the names of these angels. Not the general names I just mentioned, but the specific names of individual angels. For instance, in the story where Yaakov wrestles with the angel of Esav, after the fight, Yaakov asks, "What's your name?" And the angel replies, "Why are you asking my name?" Yaakov also asked for a blessing from this angel who had tried to destroy him. This is a huge secret in Kabbalah. Why didn't the angel reveal his name? Many Kabbalistic sages suggest that the answer is, "My name is, don't ask questions." Why? Because asking about his name means wanting to understand his essence. The essence of the angel is tied to the mission God gives him. In this case, we know it was the angel of Esav, who has a very negative connotation. So, when he says, "My name is, don't ask questions," he's essentially saying, don't delve too deeply into this. His strength comes from people's ignorance. As long as people remain unaware of the Torah, God, and the meaning of life, he has power. But once they start to question and seek knowledge, they'll discover God, and he loses his strength. This struggle of Yaakov is significant. It's mentioned explicitly in the Torah, and I don't even need to reference Kabbalah for this. Yaakov's fight with the angel took place at night, and as dawn approached, the angel began to weaken. Was it the sunlight that weakened him? Not at all. We understand that this struggle is a spiritual one, a battle between divine light and the deep darkness of ignorance. The more light there is, the less power the angel has. When a person lacks knowledge, they remain in darkness, and that's where the angel thrives. Yaakov had so much light that he could overpower this kind of angel. This is fantastic. It's a message for both you and me. Another instance where an angel doesn't reveal his name is with Samson's mother. When she and her husband Manoch encounter the angel, they ask, "What's your name?" And once again, there's no answer. The text states, "And he is wonderful." This is something marvelous. Once again, we can interpret the angel's refusal to reveal his name as something extraordinary, something beyond human comprehension. The angel exists at a level that transcends our understanding. On the other hand, we can also see that this is the angel's essence. He came with a mission to reveal something incredible, that a child would be born with extraordinary spiritual and physical potential. Why did an angel need to deliver this message? God could have made this happen in many ways. We've seen many individuals born with great potential, like King David, who defeated Goliath, who was much stronger, and so on. But no angel came to tell his father, Jesse, "Hey, you're going to have an amazing son." Why not? Because even though King David had a spiritual level we can't even imagine, he was still seen as a human. The level of Samson, with his immense strength, isn't just physical. No one could defeat him physically, but everyone sensed there was some secret behind it all. Then along comes Delilah, trying to uncover his secret by seducing him. What's your strength? Where does it come from? Until finally, he reveals, I'm a Nazir, and a Nazir can't cut his hair. That would be a sin. If I cut my hair, my spiritual strength diminishes, and I won't be able to fulfill the missions God has given me. So who reveals this kind of information? It's clear that it's not something natural. An angel had to come and share this with Samson's parents. They understood this, raised Samson accordingly, and he ended up using all that power he had. In other words, he got it. His parents told him, our child, we received a message from an angel. He understood he had a mission that went beyond the ordinary. That's why he could fight and defeat the Philistines, often without help. It's not that the Philistines were weak. They won battles against the entire people of Israel. This teaches us once again about the mission and importance of angels. One very interesting and often discussed verse is as follows. Let me start with a question. Guardian angels, do they really exist? Is it just a myth, or is there truth to it? Up until now, we've seen angels visiting Abraham, battling with Yaakov, appearing to Daniel, and showing divine chariots. But what about personal angels? Well, listen closely. One of the Psalms filled with secrets, and one of the most mystical, is Psalm 91. In this psalm, it says, I have sent angels to guard you. Kabbalah teaches that God indeed sends angels to walk alongside us. Do we perceive these angels? It's like having a kind of bodyguard. The purpose of these angels is to protect us not just from physical dangers, but also from spiritual pitfalls. Do people see these angels? If we can't see them, what's the point? Here's where I want to explain a bit more. Kabbalah tells us that there are many spiritual forces around us at all times. Our Yetzer, our evil inclination, tries to lead us astray, to sin, to gossip, and to stray from the path. These angels help us resist those negative forces. They're walking alongside us all the time. If someone starts committing too many sins, those angels begin to fade from their life. They lose their strength. Why? Because these angels are nourished by the mitzvot, the good deeds we perform. When a person sins, especially with serious offenses, those angels weaken. It's like saying, I don't want to hear you. I'm ignoring you. So they lose their influence. And it's not a physical thing. It's something mystical, deeply connected to the sensitivity of your soul. God does this for our benefit. When we're strong, those angels become even stronger. When we're spiritually weak, they lose some of their power. If you felt connected to this inspiring story, don't forget to share this video with someone who needs to learn about angels. Turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and leave a like. We'll see you in the next video with more inspiring stories like this one.